What's up, guys? DrumQuig Podcast, episode 29, and a familiar face to all of you who have been watching the show. Or if you watched the last episode, you'll notice they're wearing the same exact shirt. We did not plan this, at least I didn't. Welcome back, Jordan Jensen. How you doing, boss?
What's up, man? I'm incredible. How are you?
Not too bad, dude. It's been a while since we've had you on here, and a lot has happened. So I'm just gonna
Yes.
push it right into you, man. I'm seeing this stuff about get me the knife, like this new project you're working on. So let's jump right into that and talk about how this came to be and what's going on with that,
Yeah.
man.
I wish I could say it's a project at this point. Now it's a full blown band, man. We're probably a couple weeks away, I'll say, from hitting the road. We got some confirmed dates out in California, and then I mean it's considered a tour. We're going to be going out with a band called Katie Went Missing. They're also from San Antonio here in Texas. So we got about, I think, 20 dates with them, something like that. So it'll be throughout the month of July. So from July 1st until about the 19th or 20th. All the details are
Sweet.
actually getting nailed down this week. So I wish I had a flyer and a bunch of stuff to tell you about, but the best I got is that we're going to be going out and stay on the Instagram, which I'm super stoked. But yeah, it's, deathcore revival. It's the thing right now. And knowing it's really hot in San Antonio, I'm here for it. Tampa death metal is in my blood. I can't help it. And over the last year and a half, I had an internet passion project with some really good friends called Casket, and that was just old school brutal death metal. And I did a bunch of cool drum videos for those songs. Those are all on my YouTube. And that was something when I met the vocalist for Get Me the Knife, Joseph, last March. I was in San Antonio to go see Aborted and Ingested and Peeling Flesh. I apologize. I can't remember the other band on that tour package. I discovered them at the show that day, as you do. But my
But
buddy Jeff
dude,
was
sometimes
like,
sometimes that's the best way to do it.
it is. It really is. We could do a podcast on that. But my buddy Jeff was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. Do you want to go see this show? And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be sweet. Drove down, hung out with him. And on the way to the show, he's like, hey, some of my buddies want to get some pizza at this place. Do you want to go? And I was like, oh, I'm familiar. The place is awesome. Pizza's really good. Let's go hang. And that was how I met Joseph. And we ended up, going to the show, hanging out, super chill dude. And, he said he was in a band before and he had some stuff that he was working on. And his friend Daniel was there, another awesome dude. He plays drums in San Antonio. They were talking about a band that they had together. And then Joseph said that he was working on stuff. And I was like, sweet. And not long after, Joseph sent me a demo, which was the start of Get Me the Knife. And he's like, yo, check this out. I made this. This is my, my thing. And I was like, yo, that's killer. Sounds like MySpace. And he's like, thanks. That's exactly what I'm going for. Not long after that, they put out, I want to say a single. Like there was another song that came out and it might have been another demo, to be honest, like more songs. But he hit me up and was like, hey, man, I'm going to be doing some music videos and some shows. Would you want to kind of stand in, fill in, that kind of thing? I need a drummer to do this. And I was like, well, let me, check out the songs. Do you have any more? And he sent me at the time, Serrated Liberation, which is our EP that we put out a little bit ago. And I
Nice.
heard, I think it was 4 songs. It was 3 or 4 songs. And the second it got done, I immediately texted him and was like, yo, I'm in this band now. I'm not filling in. Like I'm inserting myself. Like you're dealing with me.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to play this. I'd been itching to do something like this for a while. And, again, being from Florida, blast beats, just all of the breakdowns, the heavy, like everything from, '07, '08. If you went to Skate Park at Tampa, if you went to State Theater, if you went to Local 626, any of that stuff, this is what we were doing. And, unfortunately, a lot of those bands either calmed down or dismembered or whatever, but a lot of that scene kind of went away, went to and
Yeah.
fro. We had back in our day, we had In Reference to a Sinking Ship that turned into Dark Sermon, which was great. And that went from being kind of black and deathcore into black and American death metal. And, that was another fun one. It was a good time. But after a while, even the deathcore genre of bands started doing things a little differently. And, the down tempo, the beat down scene is awesome. There's Body Snatcher and God, there's so many good Peacemaker, a lot of good bands from Florida, a lot of homies to give shout outs to. Traders, all the big names, all the dudes, all them boys. But we now I think it started in early 2025 was a couple bands that just decided to have fun and say, hey, this is MySpace deathcore. This is what we're doing. This is our genre. We're playing blast beats and breakdowns. Come mosh. And hearing Get Me the Knife was something that I'm like, I need this. This has to happen. And somehow in the same year, we got a new album from Despised Icon last year, which was just, if y'all haven't heard it, please go press play. I love those dudes. I love that album. Shout out Alex. So having that opportunity, we did a couple videos and I thought it was just going to be something pretty fun. We could, be able to post about and things like that. And We booked our first show in February, or it honestly could have been January. I should know this, but I want to say January to start this year. And we were the first band of the night. So we're the first band on the bill. It's our first show. We have an intro that starts with it's just kind of like a rumble, I guess, like a good like until the song starts. Brother, I flammed my snare on the downbeat. By the time my sticks got to my crashes, 5 kids started swinging. It was the best. No hesitation. And like every bass drop, you just see kids know it's the signal. You either duck, swing, or spin kick, and every night, beginning to end, it's incredible. We did a quick little run with a band called Squelching and another band called Dramatization, and just having a 5 day little taste of the road, seeing to test the waters. We got to play in Tulsa, which I haven't been there in I don't know 10, 11 years. And,
Jeez.
this band hasn't played outside of San Antonio. So getting to play there, Dallas, Houston. We played up here close to Austin in a city called Pflugerville. And then we went down to Corpus Christi, and
Corpus
just had an
Christi?
incredible Corpus Christi, had just a really good, quick little zip. We can call it a tour, but that to me, that's a run. It's less than a week, but just 5 shows back to back to back. And every time we got off stage, I was like, that was sick. That was sick. That was really sick. And by the end of it, I'm like, all right, we've got something here. And we knew from the shows, we couldn't keep merch every time we put stuff online. I'm so grateful. We have really good merch designers. We work with really good companies. Shout out to the guys at Graves Coffee. They're helping us with, getting like comfort colors to get proper shirts, proper merch. Our web store is absolutely phenomenal. Just everything going on in this band, all the stars are aligned. It's a beautiful thing. I'm grateful to be a part of it. And all my companies are also grateful for me to be doing this because they're like, "Oh, you're finally touring? Great." And I'm like, "I know, I get it. It's yep, here we go. I'll get you fun. Let's look good on Instagram, guys." So it's cool. I'm very grateful for it. It's doing a lot for the deathcore scene, and I feel like over the next year, we've got a new single coming out soon, and then we're working on an EP or two, and just trying to stay busy, trying to keep it going. Obviously, we've been trying to put riffs in the bag and keep getting material as much as humanly possible because you never want to stop writing, even if the next one better be written and ready to record anyway. But
Yeah.
it's been great, man. And the dudes are all great. It's not like I showed up and was like, well, we look cool, but I don't want to hang out. It's like I one-on-one have a great relationship with everyone in this band. And as a dynamic, it's awesome because we're all in our 30s. Everyone not only is professional, but like we go out and understand like if you stand around and wind your cables, your drummer's going to take forever to get off stage. Or if we show up to the venue and you hit the bar first, somebody's going to load in your cab. So it's just it's a nice mutual understanding and also a mutual respect with everybody. It's a pretty well-oiled machine. I'm very, very happy. And it's all DIY, no label, no management, no agent, no nothing. We're doing everything ourselves. So right now there's no hands in the pot. All that cash goes in our pocket. So it's very, very successful. I'm very grateful. And, companies like Spinelli Drums out of Florida make some amazing products that I get to go beat the crap out of on stage, and y'all get to hear every single night. It's a beautiful thing.
I I love it because I haven't seen you this excited in a really long time. Like literally you are like bouncing off the couch, like talking about it. And it's funny
Thanks,
you
man.
talk about like the MySpace like metal because it was
Yeah,
like back then like stuff just sounded terrible, but it was so raw. It was so like
we loved it. It felt so good.
exactly. Yeah. And we talk about the resurgence of vinyl. We talk about it's like we're going backwards in a good way with music. We're getting back to those roots,
Absolutely. We're getting physical
and
media, baby. It's
dude,
great.
and that's like, again, not to, name drop Brad Moxie going back into Evergreen Terrace after all this time.
Yes.
Like, not something I expected to see. Like, literally, if everything works out, I'm literally going to see Stuart Copeland on Friday and Brad on Saturday. So,
Yeah, dude. What an amazing I love that for you. What a great weekend.
yeah, right. And but you talk about this resurgence of like, you know, Polaroid cameras are back in, vinyl, like we're talking about like going backwards, but it's like that the deathcore scene, and it's so funny because the deathcore scene still has some of the most brutal names ever. And you wonder how some of
Totally.
this got to the point. So do you know the origin of Give Me the Knife? Like why was that the name that they chose?
Dude, Joseph just wanted a name for a band, and so many people are like, "Oh, it's a movie quote. It's from a book," and it's like, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but it literally was just him being like, "All right, what do we call it? What's something brutal? What about we'll say like just get me the knife." And I think there's a movie quote somewhere where someone screamed like, "Give me the knife!" And you can hear that in different applications here and there, but like I don't think there's a direct quote ever from anything of someone saying "Get me the knife," which is cool because if you Google it, it's our band.
Yeah, it's I
We're
want the
not
knife, Eddie Murphy.
thank you. So it's like you can derive from a lot of things, but it's just our I don't know. We own it, and people hear it and see it, and now we have. Thankfully, the new logo has the barbed wire, just like in somatic defilement. But it's got that almost illegible. It looks like scratchy, so
Yep.
you can read it and be like, that band's probably gonna hurt if I see them. But it's a very like you can if you stare at it long enough, you know exactly what it says.
Yeah. Dude, that just reminds me, so Unmetal, T Public used to have an Unmetal section where they just took like Celine Dion and like Phil Collins, but made the
Yeah,
shirts like
I got that Beyonce shirt with it was supposed to be like Venom. Instead of saying Venom, it said Beyonce, and then the Baphomet was her face going. And then instead of black metal, it said woke up like this.
oh my gosh. So I have the Phil Collins and I had somebody
Yeah,
come
you
up and
do.
they go, I can't believe you listened to that garbage. And I was like, did you read the shirt?
Excuse me.
And then they read the shirt and they're like, wait, what? I've never seen that before.
It's like, first of all, how dare you? Second of all,
Yeah,
don't
how
judge
dare
me.
you?
All right? Goodness. Just because the man writes bangers doesn't mean you got to hate on it. That's your fault for not having that much capacity. He's incredible. I'd be jealous of his brilliance if I could, but I'm on board with it.
I'm jealous of the fact that Nick is, I would say, equally, if not more talented, because you're
Yo,
watching him
Nick's
do
killing
stuff
it.
and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God. Look at
Well,
Nick
Apple doesn't fall
Collins,
far,
Max
right? But
Portnoy.
also,
Like,
he's a sweetie.
yeah,
We got a good generation of drummers coming. I mean, obviously we're living it right now, but like the next wave of our heroes and like everybody else that's coming from them, it's pretty rad. Which you and John talked about that for some reason. Both of y'all brought me up on that episode, which thank you for that. I don't know why I was the one you guys thought about, but that was cool.
because without you, I don't meet him. Like, I don't make that connection. Because I remember you talking about him, and in the episode, I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I was like, "I don't know who that is." Like, I didn't know, but I didn't know that I did know. If that makes any sense, because like my dad's known of him for
Of
years, and
course.
he's like, "Oh, John knows everybody." And then when they
Hmm.
got to meet in the shop, it felt more like two friends who haven't seen each other in 20 years versus
Yeah.
like two strangers. And just John just being so hospitable and just I was laughing because when we got there, he was like, "Listen, I'm dealing with an invoice right now. I'll be with you guys in a minute." And it was for Yellow Card. He had wrapped their
Yep.
drums. And I
Sounds like
just
John.
went, and he's just like, "Hold on." He's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." He's like, "The computer, whatever, like something was not working the way it was supposed to." But I'm like waiting for somebody else to come out and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "It's just you in here. It's just you doing all this."
Yeah. No, he's
And
a literal one man show. And other than like, he's got Frank and like, Big Brother Mike, you've got some of the Spinelli boys that'll come in and help him. And he's got some homies that'll come in here and there and, do some either assembly or, what have you. Cause he's got the paint shop outside. There's no booth in there. You can't be having those fumes in that building.
yeah, no, no,
But,
no, no.
but, other than that, he's working with Casey Grillo. They do drum static drum heads. So any drum graphic you see on my kick, that's those guys. And that's been good God, like over 12. Wow, now it's probably like 15 years now because I
Jeez.
feel like I was still in college when Casey showed me that he was doing it and he and John doing it together. The first like big like because we'd see it on Casey's kicks and at the time he was in Camelot, so they were beautiful. He had there's one clinic where he did the tour kit and the home kit, which was super cool because at home he's gigging on the beach, just being the man. Then on the road, he's flipping sticks and just the coolest show ever. And now, of course, now he's with Queensryche, which God, I love that for him. Shout out Casey, I love you, buddy. But
So glad you did that.
They did Eric Singer's heads for Kiss, and at one point, all four letters would blink independently. And just knowing that was possible, but also I know the dudes that did that. It's like, hey guys, I know the
Insane.
biggest band ever wants you to make electric kick heads. Can you make one for me that no one can read with skulls, please? And they're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
And I was like,
sure.
thanks. Whatever. And of course, I remember one time having to pick one up. I think, oh, good Lord. I can't even remember the place on the beach, which I'm sure it's not even called what it was back then. It was some St. Pete bar, which I still see a lot of my buddies gigging down in that area because he was like, hey, man, sorry I can't meet up today, but I got a gig tonight. If you want to come, I'll put your heads in the trunk and, you can come check out this band I'm playing with. And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't have anything going on. And, I went and picked up the heads, hung out with Casey and watched him just groove and be Casey because, he's way more than just playing metal, which growing up, John always taught me do more than what you want to be doing. So in my brain, I was like, well, hey, I got this double pedal. I don't know what to do with it. I really like Slipknot. Now what? And John's like, oh man, listen to this, listen to that. And, showing me what shuffles were and that, there's things that you can do with it that, yeah, you can do with 1 foot, but it's louder with 2 feet. And when Casey did, I feel like it was a clinic. I don't even think it was a masterclass. He did a clinic. He got done and I was just mind blown at some of the stuff he was doing, not only open-handed technique, but just some of his ride work. The right hand on that man is just, it's like Bob Ross on a palette of colors, but that's how Casey treats his cymbals. And I took a couple lessons with him and learned a lot about my feet because I thought I had some, I had 2 bass drums at the time. I thought I was super cool, Mr. Metal. And then Casey's like, hey, try this, try that. And then I learned, a lot of technical stuff and was like, all right, got to go change the batteries in my metronome. And all right, moved on. And, it's all that.
Gotta actually learn this.
Yeah, right. It's like I'm not just jamming now. The headphones are off, but it's awesome, man. Great dudes, great culture.
Yeah, well, it's so funny you mentioned just because I watched it again today. Obviously, Drumeo does those, hearing it for the first time. And I'm just going to say, like, sometimes I don't believe that some of those people haven't heard the songs because I'm like, really?
Dude, some of them I'm like, you haven't heard? But given you watch your reactions and it's like, damn, you have like, it's all deer in headlights. They have no idea what they're listening to. And it's like,
yeah.
All right, what are you going to pull out of your pocket? Like, what's going to happen? And as a drummer, you hear it, interpret it, you play, and you're like, that's cool. It's not what that dude wrote, or that drummer wrote. I can't say dude. That's not what that drummer wrote. But, that sounded cool.
But Blake Richardson doing Dave Matthews, and he's like, between the bear and me. Just, like,
Big brain
again,
boys.
that show's coming up at the, yeah. And you just think about the fact that, like, the first time he heard it is what they did the playthrough. And I'm like, he anticipated half the stuff coming up. And I'm like, that was incredible. And then he listens to it and he goes, oh, shuffle. Yep. Shuffle. Yep.
Right.
He's like, I had fun. He's like, but I'm not Carter Beauford. He's like, Carter's here. I'm here.
Dude, Carter's here and we're all down here, baby. Like, there's no,
yeah,
we're not getting up to that step. He's one of one.
We almost drove to West Palm last weekend to see it because I was like, but it's, yeah, man, I don't like that Dave does summer tours. I'm like, can you just come here in like February? Like, please.
Right.
Like,
can you play when it's bearable to watch you? Because, oh my God, bro. Like, especially in Florida. Like, here in Austin, yeah, it's hot and it's pretty brutal. Like, if there's no clouds, it sucks. But you get in the shade and you're like, okay, this is tolerable. Or the sun goes down and you're like, all right, we're okay. Florida, it's just either sticky or your brain going -1 HP. -1 HP. Get in the house. It hurts.
Yep. And the worst part is that he plays at Mid-Florida, and because of the hurricane a couple of years, they lost the cover.
Oh, the awning.
And
That's
they
right.
still haven't replaced it. And I saw on their website the other day, they're like, they're offering free water stations and sunscreen. And I went, yeah, that's not gonna do it. Like, not for me.
Well, I
like,
mean,
that's
something they should have been doing all along, but at least now it's like, all right, well, there's something for the people other than, hey, here's a place to stand.
Yeah. Whereas like the Baycare Sound, where right over there in Clearwater, like we saw Willie Nelson 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
It's freaking amazing. Like,
yeah, buddy.
But I mean, that's why I saw Dream, we saw Dream Theater there. We saw Ringo Starr and his all-star band, which was, again, Greg Bissonette just blows me away still to this day.
Yeah.
And I know we went away from the metal there for a second, but honestly, like, John was talking about that. And I kind of wanted to go back to like, do you remember like your first lesson with John? Do you remember like that first?
I'll never forget it. That man raised me. I call him Uncle John for a reason. And like, I'm a dad now. I have a 7-year-old and he still is like, why do you call him your uncle?
7.
I'm like, well, believe me, I know. I miss the football-sized human being where he would just hang out right here, just a sweet little, and I'd either tickle him or go change his butt or feed him. Where now it's like, he'll come in the kitchen and be like, look, I painted this. And I'm like, it's been 5 minutes. I'm scrambling eggs. Where did this masterpiece come from? But anyway, I could talk dad stuff for hours. But I remember sitting down and I took a lesson before and it was with a different teacher. And I was like, hey, this is cool, but you're showing me a book of rudiments and you're showing me jazz standards. And this has nothing to do with anything that I want to do. I love it. I respect it. Thank you so much. I'm 15 and I'm really mad about it. So this is not what's happening. Have a good day. So, Scott Spaziano, one of my best friends in the whole world, one of the greatest drummers, one of the influences and the reasons why I play, because he had a drum kit in his room. I played his drums and his dad was like, hey, you should learn drums. you keep time pretty well. And so Gotti's like, hey man,
What
you
a
should go take
compliment.
lessons from my teacher. Well, we were kids and his dad was really nice. So I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to that guy because he's a dad. And, Scotty's like, we should take a lesson from my teacher. I was like, who's your teacher? He's like, his name's John. I was like, perfect. Not the dude I took a lesson from. Let's go. Sit down day one. I was like, hey, man, so I like this band called Slipknot, and they have this song called the Heretic Anthem, and they're really fast. How do I play that? And he goes, man, check this out. And it's not that he knew the song or that he immediately taught me how to play that. He showed me an exercise on my double pedal to just sit down for a week and play 16th notes to where normally in a rudiment, you see the hi hat is on the top and it's 1 E and a
Yep.
2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and and you got your 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, now we're turning that whole thing upside down. So all the 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and is your bass drum on the bottom. Your 1 is your hi hat. And then your 2 is your snare. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a digga 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 digga. And then I came back and he was like, okay, try doing it this way, try doing it that way. And then I saw Slipknot and I was like, okay, so there's this band that was with him called Lamb of God, and his drummer's doing this. How do I do that? And he's like, all right, check this out. He gave me that
Chris
exercise. And
Adler.
then right. And then I realized, oh, there's also a band called Shadows Fall. And then their drummer does this. And how do I play this fill? And he's like, okay, we're going to have to learn this note for note, but I'm going to break it down and show you. And then, just making it from day one, not only accessible, but very digestible. It was never this unattainable. I want to play like that. Well, it's going to take years. He was like, nah, man, do that. And I was like, okay, because
Oh, that was a
he knew I
perfect.
was
That was a perfect Spinelli.
I love that man. All right. Also, you spend enough time with him, and it's hard not to talk like him. So it was something he knew how to communicate to me, and he knew I'd take it and I would run with it and I would work with it. And then also, he knew my whole day was either pushing a skateboard or playing my drums. No offense to any of my teachers, but I didn't care about school at all. I was a theater kid, so I'd wake up and get there early because period one, theater. Okay, we're good there. I'm going to go, be on stage, light, sound, dancing, makeup, girls, food, all the stuff. And
All
then
this stuff.
second period was all the necessities in high school. And then second period at Seminole High was either weight training or I went over across the street to SVEC and was taking carpentry lessons. I took a carpentry class, but our lessons were in actual construction. It wasn't wood shop where you're carving your initials in a 2x4. You're, framing roofs
Right.
and walls and we made a lot of picnic tables to be able to fund our program. But after a while, you get used to that's how you use these three tools better than anybody else. Is you cut so many boards, you're like, yep, this reciprocating saw is a part of my hand now. I can't not do that. But other than that, all my other classes, I did what I could to get by. But I mean, you can ask anyone that knew me in high school. I was the worst, most annoying kid to sit around because my feet were either tapping on the floor or the basket on your chair unapologetically, or my drumsticks would be falling out of my backpack, or I'd just be drumming on something. And I remember back in that day, so we're talking like 04, 05 when I started these lessons, I'd go to FYE at Tyrone Mall, scan a CD, put the headphones on, and I'd be air drumming in the store just to try to see about listening to these songs. So we didn't have streaming back then. There might have been YouTube. My internet was not the biggest part of my life. But if you didn't either have somebody burn you a CD, go to Target to buy it, I didn't know about like torrenting then. So it was like I had hoped I could get like a Napster or a whatever. But after you crash the family computer with Kazaa, it's really, or LimeWire, it's really hard to, get
Yes.
anybody to agree to, oh yeah, you no, you can put a new program on here. It's fine. Like, sorry, Dad.
It's totally safe. Totally safe.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll get you the Rush, discography and all the Led Zeppelin albums, Dad. It's fine. They're free. But it was going in to find ways to find music, make music, listen to music, and in high school, all I wanted to do was be Joey, and all I did every day was just think about how do I drum, how do I play drums, and John saw that, and he knew, okay, if I show you something, you're going to come back. You're either going to practice it and come back and play it better, or you're going to come back and have questions about it. And
Yeah.
like you said, there was a point when he said, I can't teach anymore. And immediately I had to hold back tears because I was like, what did I do? And he's like, no, 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 I'm going to manage the store. I can't manage the store and teach because I can't be in two places at once. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, who do I take lessons from? He's like, well, there's a bunch of teachers here, but just so you know, there's going to be tons of clinics. There's going to be master classes. You can take private lessons. I'll make sure everyone's here for you. And our last, I want to say like 3 or 4 lessons, he showed me a drumometer and I'd used it here and there. And I knew that was a thing at like clinics that everybody would play for fun and stuff. And he was like, hey, I want to see, what you can do with this because you have hand technique. I want to show you how to actually play faster and the difference from this to this is, it's a whole another means of
Yeah.
moving the stick. And I feel like it was like over like 900 BPM or something on my last time using it. We'll say like 905 for rounding it off, but like,
Jeez.
you know, 15-year-old kid figuring out without double strokes how to go brrr and just single stroke this thing. Possible, long-term issues. It's fine. They're just tennis elbows. But knowing that was possible at that age, I was like, oh, okay. Well, Cannibal Corpse don't sound all that fast anymore. And then got into different, means of not only blast beats, but just crazy bands that like, he told me about this drummer called Derek Rowdy and gave me his DVD. Not long after that, he came in to do a clinic. I met him. I got into bands, get into college, get out of college, get on tour, come home from the road and hey, you want to do a clinic with Derek and Scotty? Yeah, what time? And, that was, I think, like spring, and we got it all lined up for drum month in May. But, John made everything happen. And also, another thing he brought up was Dom Famularo, which one of the greatest
Mm.
educators and drummers on the face of the earth, the literal global ambassador for drums. I was sitting on my couch. I don't know if I was watching the movie or what I was doing, but my phone rang and it was John. And I picked it up. I was like, hey, what's up, man? And I hear, is this Gordon Jensen? And I went, oh, yes. Who is this? This is Dom Famularo. John just picked me up from the airport and said you were one of his students. I just wanted to personally invite you to my clinic tonight at Seminole Music and Sound. I was like, be there, sir. Have a safe drive. He goes, okay, I'm going to hand you over. John goes, all right, man, see you soon. Click. And I was like, as a brother, I want to say like 15, 16-year-old kid,
Oh my
one getting
god.
to hear, because we all had the Sabian poster, like the poster of Dom. So to hear the voice of the dude I've been staring at that was like this close to my head on the wall next to my drum kit, to have him speak to me directly, get to go to his clinic, shake his hand. He thanked me for being there, as he thanks everybody because he's Dom. His heart is bigger than he
Yeah.
is. Having that opportunity and things like that, not only was Dom a saint, is a saint. He's forever. I love you, brother. John made that happen as he made everything happen. And,
Yeah.
like there would be certain master classes. He would text me and say, hey, be here at this time. Or like, hey, Portnoy's doing a signing. It costs this much. If you come into the store in the next 2 days, we can make sure you pay and get your spot. All that stuff. And it was just knowing he was able to create everything after not only going from being my teacher, but knowing, okay, he has Seminole Music, he has the store, he has the real estate, like all of the means to create and to bring everyone and everything together, as he still is doing.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do. I've had a couple clinics of my own out here in Texas. I would love to do more. The market's a little interesting for that, but that's okay. We're now far enough
Yeah.
away from COVID. People can be in the same room. We don't have to log on for these. But my biggest inspiration for not only my communication of drums, but my passion for it, it comes from John. Because I always thought drums were cool. Like my cousin Wayne, when I was little, he was the one I'd always go over and play his drums or his marching snare, whatever I was allowed to play anyway. Because obviously, if it's loud enough and it's Christmas, no one cares. Just go build Legos or something.
Yeah. Go do your thing.
But yeah, it was a very, we'll make a long story long, but it's a lot of passion. John made the best out of everything, everyone, and anything. And the way that I try to communicate and convey my teaching and what I bring to an educational platform is what he showed me. And it's that, hey, do you want to play drums? Do you love drums? Cool. I do too. Let's do this together. What do you want to learn? How do we get you there? And
Yeah.
it's just very comfortable. I loved it.
What an experience. And it's so funny. We talked about it last time. We're like, I'm definitely sure like at some point we were in the store at the same time before we ever
Uh
met
huh.
each other. It had to be
Big,
like
big time.
and then of course the Roddy, like the full circle, like it's so funny like how the Roddy thing worked because I went to the clinic. I don't know that you played at that one. I don't remember.
He's done a lot. I got to be honest, because I saw him in clinic twice before we did one together. So like that was a very
Okay.
busy time for him, where it was at least once a year he was in there blasting, and we all showed up for it.
Yeah, I think he's playing with a band at Brass Mug coming up. And I
Yeah,
was
he's
like,
with the
I might
Isotropy.
yeah. So I was like,
Please,
I might make
please,
it over to that
please
one.
go. Their tunes are killer. If Derek's playing drums, he needs people in the crowd. That's a very like his playing demands an audience. And also another fun full
Absolutely.
circle thing
Absolutely.
is from that clinic. It was blast beats, past, present, and future. It was three drummers, and all of us had a guitar player with us, so we didn't have to play the tracks. His guitar player, Rustin Gross, very good buddy of mine. He's now the drummer in 6 Feet Under. Think about that.
Jeez.
Yeah. Like I saw him. He came through Austin a while ago with Master, so I got to see him finally. Which every time we're either on the road or doing something, we somebody misses somebody. He came out when Dark Sermon were in Miami in like 2016, I think, and that was the last time he saw me play. And I think I hate to say it, I think that was our last hug before Master was in town and he was playing with them. He's also been working with Skeletal Remains, which as a drummer, that's well, what a gig. But now, the
Yeah,
6 feet
jeez.
under, it's like, all right, cool, man, go rock it. Because if there's a dude for it, it's Rustin. So that's tight. And another D drum guy. So hell yeah.
And I mean, at this point, I don't think I've ever seen you play, as sad as that sounds.
And not yet,
And
because now I'm
I don't think I
getting back
haven't.
on the road again. So there's a good chance of me getting
Well,
Florida,
there's
man.
there's opportunities. Yeah, that's happening. I'm just
Yes.
I'm not as nimble as I used to be. I'm not getting that close anymore. But
I
I
wouldn't
will
say
for
get
you.
close, but if I can find, well, thank you. If I can find an opportunity, I'll have you right up there. Bring your earplugs, but I'll have you right up there so that you're the one either holding my camera or at least you're close enough to where you can see what's going on and you're not like trying to figure out between guitar player knees what I'm doing. Because
Yeah.
come hang,
Yeah, we
please
talk
come
about
hang.
that a lot because photographers, I'm like, we're trying to take pictures, and I'm like, nobody takes pictures of the drummer. Like, nobody.
Drummer
They're
doesn't
like, "You'll
matter.
get it,"
Drummer's
and it'll
just
be
that
like,
dude in the back of the band.
yeah. And that, that night that Weka was there, like, I bought my camera that night because I was like, I don't know, like, if I'm gonna stand, like, what it's gonna be like. And the waitress at the DAC Shack goes, "All I have is this table right here." And it was literally, like, the table directly
The stage
diagonal
left.
from the stage. And I was like,
God.
"Yeah, that's
All right.
fine." Like, that's I yeah, that's just fine with me. And then, like, somebody went to sit at the table, and I was like, "No, I got a buddy coming," and he just leans in, and he goes, "Is your buddy Dave Weckl?" And I was like, "I mean, I wish Dave Weckl was my buddy." I was like,
It could
"But
be.
no, that's not." He could be. Well, you mentioned Casey. Casey was there that night. I didn't get to talk to him, which I was really sad about,
I'm glad he was there though. That's awesome.
and I don't ever do this, but I had reached out to him, and then John reached out to me yesterday and said, "Hey, I talked to Casey. I think they're going on tour." He's like, "When they're done, he'll reach out." And I'm like,
That is a
"Thanks,
very busy
John."
human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, leave it to Spinelli.
Oh yeah.
Man, you and I could talk for hours and hours and hours, but I think, like, I don't know how you can end it any better than that because how you just talked about Spinelli and, like, what he's meant
The
for you,
best.
like,
Oh, I'd be nowhere without
you
him. Like my first NAMM show, he introduced me to everybody, and you would literally think it was an uncle walking around being like, "Hey, this is my snot nosed nephew." It's like, "Oh, hey, this is Jordan Jensen. You need to know him." And I was like, and then
you're like,
after 2 minutes of imposter
"Okay,
syndrome, I'm like, "No, I'm at the NAMM show. I should be shaking hands. Like, I don't have business cards. I
yeah,
have handshakes." And we had, that was 2016. We had Instagram then. You could and be able to follow people on the spot. And yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's everything, everything, everything. He's the best, and especially now that we got Florida Drum Fest coming up, that is a booth everyone needs to go to. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in that booth. Obviously, we've got the DrumQuig pod. Wow, that's fun to say. DrumQuig podcast booth, baby. Whoo, we did it.
yeah."
We got there. We said it.
I'm stoked.
But that's
It's
going to be
all
a
right.
great
Every
time.
time the captions pull up, it says drum quake. And I was like, drum quake sounds
Quake?
cool, but it kind of defeats quake,
That
like an earthquake.
no, that's cool. I like that alliteration, but that's for yeah, no, that subtitles
No, and
are
it's so funny.
swinging a
So,
miss.
dude, first and foremost, Drumfest. Like, so excited for
Yes,
that. So excited for us to be in the same place at the same time.
that's going to be a lot of fun.
And really, I think Drums and Rums podcast is going to be, there's going to be other podcasts. So it's not just going to be us, but the plan is to have, definitely we'll have stickers, a new jersey, maybe some
Hey.
merch. We're going to see how that goes.
Mm.
But yeah, man,
We love our merch.
super excited for the tour coming up. Like you said, give me the knife, like the EP. I'll drop everything in, the good old description for anybody who reads past the second line. Love all
Yeah,
of you
thank
who
you.
do. Appreciate it. And I'll do my little spiel. Obviously, Drumfest coming up September 20th, 2026 in Eustis, Florida. It's a Sunday.
Yes.
The tickets are like $12. Guys,
I was
just
gonna say it's so affordable. There's no
yeah.
excuse. Like if you're in Florida, go. And if you can't get to Florida, go.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
exactly.
so much
Carpool.
fun.
John said carpool.
Yeah, seriously.
Jerseys for drummers. Obviously, I love this thing. I wear it for just about every episode, and I try to wear it to shows because it's a giant walking billboard. When I saw Dream Theater getting to meet the photographer, shout out Wolf, because I've got his stuff on the wall behind me.
Yep.
just an amazing person, and caught a really cool picture of the back of the jersey. But love that he does Carter's jerseys. He's done Portnoy's jerseys for the last tour. Just, I mean,
Perfect.
the list goes on and on. So it just keeps going. And then, of course, Stay Tuned Records, local record store here in Tarpon. We talked about how much we love vinyl. You know, they had a flood about 3 weeks ago now at this point. Tenant above them, just it damaged a lot of stuff. They're finally back open. So it's really exciting that they were able to make it through that. So if anybody goes online, just pick something up. Doesn't matter what it is, you know, just something to help support them. They've got it where they were able to online ship stuff. It's in a warehouse completely offsite, so it wasn't anywhere near any of that stuff. So it's really cool that they
Good.
have that and have the ability. So that's my little plug for Doug and Amy. Love those guys. And again, Jordan, we're going on, let's see, gosh, how long has it been? 12 years, buddy?
Bro, I started
11,
making
12
your
years?
coffee. What year is it? 26?
2014?
And I
2014.
2014. Yeah, that was when I moved to that. It was the Starkey Elmerton store in Largo.
Yep. Yep.
Oh yeah,
And
that
I
was rad.
remember I told John, I said, I looked at the counter and I just saw, and I was like, drummer, let's talk. Like,
But I could take
And
my
you're-
Sharpie, and the way the counters were set, there was a lip on the end so the liquid didn't spill over immediately. So it was like the rim of a drum. So you could sit and do a freehand roll. And of course, I had 2 Sharpies. So if no one's paying attention, I'm waiting for
course.
something to do.
of course. So
The
that's
best.
perfect, man. Well, hopefully I see you before September. If not, Drum Fest. I'm super excited for that. And yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching, and thanks for coming back on, man. Really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me. It's good to see you.
Likewise.
Hey guys, wanted to take a quick second to let you know that the DrumQuig podcast will be at Florida Drum Fest Sunday, September 2026. It's from 11 to 5 p.m. at the Lake Canyon Fairgrounds. Vendors, podcast, all kinds of stuff drums. So come out and support it. And meet yours truly. Thanks so much. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig podcast. Thank you so much.